the Norfolk Broads, an area famed in Britain for slow winding rivers, lakes and reed beds. Every summer this is the temporary home for thousands of holiday makers in hired cruisers and motorboats. But there is another aspect of the Broads, where older ways persist, and where a fleet of 1930s built cruising yachts has, against all odds, survived and remains the very essence of a unique landscape.
Are you in on Saturday then, or what?
Apparently you got everything changed over Saturday, and
yeah.
Yeah, well, I was like come back Friday night.
It's Saturday morning at Hunter's Boatyard on Womack Water, and there's a bit of an argument brewing. As usual, everyone's trying to persuade Tom, the yard hand, to take a weekend off.
Well, he was a Tom, wasn't he?
Okay.
Yeah, but he was bloody well a Tom.
So you have the Saturday off, all right?
I shan't hear the last on it.
No, don't come in.
It's also changeover day in the yard's busy summer schedule. It's all hands to the pumps to get the 60-year-old boats cleaned and spruced up before they can set sail again.
But you want to get loaded up first, really, don't you, before you go? You don't want to leave your stuff in.
Lisa Morgan is the yard manager. She organises the customers. They have to bring with them everything they'll need for the week. They eat, cook and sleep on the boats.
Cheers, matey.
Customers come and get on the boats and they say, where's the fridge? Aha, there isn't one. You've got to learn to live without one for a week. And it's funny what it does to people. It balances you, really, because you have to learn to deal with the environment that you're in, and it shows how people do, really.
That's the most important thing, look. Kettle. There's a small cooker in a locker.
Bill Jones hires the fleet twice a year for his scout group and their families.
That's it. That's the only mod con, really. That's replaced the primuses that Percy Hunter put in many years ago on the original boats. Toilet's a pump-out toilet. I mean, if you've never gone to the toilet in a cupboard before, well, you can experience it on the Broads, can't you? I'll spring. Right, come on, please. Come on. Let's get some steerage on it.
Sleek, varnished and lovely, there's one crucial difference between these boats and others on the Broads. They've no engines. Tom Grape has been at the yard for 53 years. He's supposed to be retired, but you can't keep him away from the boats.
Get a fair old turn of speed on these, don't you?
Oh, you can do. As soon as you get a puff of wind, if you pull the sail in, then you can feel the boat really, you know, jump ahead. But they're ever so manoeuvrable. I mean, you turn the boat round in their own length. We want to go about, you just put your tiller over and turn on the spark lock. In what, a matter of 10 feet? You can't always do that with a car. Not turn around like that. The whole thing is you must keep your boat going.
The quiet here, isn't it, the most...
Well, that's what anybody from the town or city, that's the sort of thing, that's the first thing they would really notice about coming out onto the Broads or out into the country. The peace and quiet of everything, tranquility. As I've caught a little fish.
Get the glasses out for this sort of thing now, those I can't see without.
Getting old, friends.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's what the trouble is.
Graham Cooper is the chief boat builder. He's only been at the yard 29 years. With the fleet out, the men can turn to their pet project, the restoration of an old racing yacht.
I still think the way we do things is as good a way as any, really. It's bound to work, and you know, most of the new ideas are really designed to cut corners, as far as I can see.
But the old ways didn't pay. When Lisa started here 6 years ago, the yard was threatened with closure. Seizing the moment, she helped form a trust to save the boats and secure a future for the yard's craftsmen.
The moment I walked in and all the boats were in the shed, and an overpowering smell of wood stain and varnish and shavings, and you know, it was just so evocative. You want that all the time. It's so warm and friendly and alive, and you just look at them and you think they are absolutely perfect. They were designed to be here. If you tried to sell them on an estuary or sell them at sea, you couldn't do it. But this environment, they are the perfect item.
Have you thought, Dave, have you thought about how you're going to get away from here?
I haven't decided yet.
I'm going to quant across there first.
It's really hard there, whatever we do. Why do you shift it?
Yeah, it does move round.
Come on the back side.
Next morning, Bill Jones's group find themselves moored on a lee shore with a strong crosswind. It's a difficult and potentially dangerous launch, but without the wind, they won't be going anywhere.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
That was exhilarating, would you say, Peter? Tiring and exhilarating, yeah. Yeah. It's not so much mucking about in boats as boating about in muck on the Norfolk Broads.
Oh, well done. Good. Oh, well done.
The thing is, Graham, to sail the boats requires teamwork. And that's why it's good for youngsters. It's good character building. There are difficult circumstances. The river keeps changing, so the wind direction is changing. So it all becomes, it's all a challenge, and it's teamwork.
We get families come up with sort of one that stands out in particular with 2 teenage boys, and it was the first time they'd ever been, and it was looking fairly daunting when they arrived. The boys did not want to be here. They wanted to be, I don't know, surfing or something. They were not looking forward to it at all. And they got off the boat on the Saturday morning and came in the office, and the mum stood in my office and cried. And I thought, oh, this is a bit emotional. She said, we've actually talked as a family, we've actually talked to each other for a week, and we know what they're about and they know what we're about, because there was nothing else to do. They couldn't sit there watching the telly because there isn't one. They couldn't sit playing their CDs because there wasn't a CD player. They had to talk. And it was, that sort of brings it home and makes you realise why places like this are so important. It's so important that we don't put electric on the boats. I mean, you know, things like that, because it's the experience that people come for. But that's it nowadays, isn't it? It's the heritage experience.
That's the old Checkers pub in the grounds of St Benet's Abbey. That was a Wherryman's pub. If you see alongside, there's a wherry moored alongside.
And that's where your grandfather?
No, that was my father's grandfather. My father's grandfather, my great-grandfather, was landlord of the pub. That was burnt down around about 1900.
Is it out of the way?
Yeah, well, that was a Wherryman's pub, wasn't it?
Oh, all right then, fair enough.
You see, that's what
That
it
makes
was.
sense then, I suppose.
Huh?
It's like a roadside cafe.
Yeah. Well, there's a photograph, yes. Isn't that photograph of you there?
Yeah,
Right on the beam, look, there's South Walsham
Yeah.
Steam Mill, and
Yeah.
there's the beam, and the cross is out over here somewhere, you see, and that's the old pub there, look.
Nicely thatched.
Huh?
Nicely thatched.
Yeah, that's thatched. I reckon that's why that burnt out on you. Anyhow,
Don't say
I
that.
told Ron...
Bought a thatched cottage. See you Monday, Tom.
Yeah, all right, Les. No, you aren't.
Oh, what you... Oh, no, you're... no, I'll see you on the 20th.
Do you want me to come in Saturday or no?
No. You're off on Saturday.
Well, that's up to you.
No, it's not... yeah, all right, it is up to me. You're off on Saturday.
No.
Okay?
All right.
Promise?
Yep.
Don't come in, don't phone. Don't just pop down just to see how things are going.
All right.
All right.
Leave it like that, anyway.
Yeah, all right then, Tom. Have a lovely holiday, won't you?
Right, thank you.
All right.
Right.
See you.
Yeah, cheerio. We got 3 boat builders on the place. Well, Simon will be a boat builder, give him another year. He's the apprentice boy. Another year, Simon? Yeah. Ian was apprentice boat builder at Wayford, and Graham he was apprenticed at Markham. So we shall have 3 boat builders.
Apprenticeships seem to be a thing of the past these days, really.
What, apprenticeships?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I suppose it is. A boat building with wood is a thing of the past anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but that's a tradition, and that's something that we like to keep it up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But when I came here, I never had no apprenticeship, anything. After I first got here, I got given a few jobs, and I just had to do more or less whatever come up. That's on a small yard. You got to sort of turn your hand to whatever job come up on at the time.
Well, we saw Simon washing the dishes on Saturday, so...
Yeah, well, we all have a go at it. We all take turns. You mustn't worry about that. Yeah, well, Simon, that's the whole enjoyment and the whole job. You're not doing the same thing day in and day out. If you're on a production line, I won't want that for all I can see. I mean, one minute you'll be varnishing and dirt going ahead, and then scrape, and then you might go out on a 2-hour sail, might you, Simon?
Yeah.
Lisa moved from London 9 years ago to make Norfolk her home.
I suppose to all intents and purposes I'm the manager, but I know that I can't bust them out. How can I tell any of them what to do? They know what they're doing, and I've got every faith in them to do it and do it well. And if I didn't, then it just won't work, would it? Because there's not enough of us there. So I don't, like I say about coming into a village or the area in general, you don't go in and just sort of impose yourself on people. There's things that I have changed that I know Tom in particular is not very keen on, because it's change.
Such as?
Do that. Such as the 2-hour sales and things like that. He doesn't like that idea very much, because that's a waste of time. But it's not a waste of time. You can't get people like they used to in the old days. You can't, I mean, people just used to come up who had no sailing ability whatsoever, and they'd get in someone's boat, probably not a hunter boat, but someone's boat, and bob around and practice. But you just can't do that now. It's too busy, and it's just too dangerous.
Is there anything you would have preferred to have done?
Not really, no. No, I don't think so. I joined the Marines soon after I left school. I was going to make that a career, but that didn't work out.
Any particular reason?
Well, medical. They found out that I'd got haematosis in the end. After a very long route march, we've been on a long route march, I'd worn all the skin off the top of my toes right down to the bones. So I had a month in the Royal Naval Hospital at Gillingham, and from there I got invalided out. So that was my Marines. But there you are. I came here after I finished with the Marines, and as I said, I've been here ever since. Anyhow, they don't look so bad once they've been touched up. They look quite respectable, you know. I'm sure the people, they appreciate it, you know, rather than come down and take a boat out was covered with scratches and marks and all the rest of it. A lot of our customers, they just keep coming year after year.
Push, Jane, push, push.
Try out this is it. I better keep an eye on them.
What's that?
I said, I got some more money to collect, yeah, I better keep an eye on them, I think.
Today, Graham's keeping an eye on the dreaded BOR. That's the Brotherhood of Revelry, who've hired the fleet for their annual aquatic pub crawl since 1951.
Line at Thurn tonight, and then Barton Angler dinner time tomorrow. The White Horse at Neater's Head tomorrow night. This sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Right. Oh, I think we're down to the last 450 of them.
You don't bring your wives on these joints then?
My wife came.
Some people do.
My wife came once.
My wife, yes. And she's been on a boat as well.
We
We'll have to cut that.
You ever fake it every bloody time with him? Oh, excuse me, the old lung cancer on it.
Oh, we're almost getting down to the right levels now, chaps.
But, now my wife came, we actually picked her up here at 9 o'clock on a Wednesday night, I believe it was. And we stuffed her in the forward cabin there and said, you ought to sleep in here, and there was no lights. It took the bloody life out of her. She's never been seen since. So anyway, she decided that yes, she does like sailing, but on nothing smaller than the QE2.
So I listened to the forecast last night. There's not too much wind forecast, which is good. It's when we get a lot of wind, and you know the ones who are pretty good at sailing go on ahead, and because the others struggling, that's when we get problems. Really, you know, you always dread a lot of wind when you get a fairly mixed group. Really.
We've had some interesting times in them. Last year, going across Hicklin, the wind was so strong that it ripped our jib sheet off.
Not just the sheet, the sail,
the sail,
the
as you call
boom.
it.
We lost this boom as well in a slight contretemps during. No, we did not race. It was a regatta. We don't race. It's not in the terms and conditions. But, we had one or two mishaps last year, and it was.
The post leapt out and took our boom off.
Yes, that's right. Basically,
nothing we could
the
do about
marker
it.
posts moved. It was a howling gale at night with no jib.
Mike and I were up the front.
Very dark, and all we could see was the light of the pub in the distance, which was our salvation. That was the lighthouse we were being guided to.
Day 5 of their cruise, and the Brotherhood of Revelry are several sheets to the wind.
And our bing bong for mine. There were ding dong, there were bing dong, there were more ding dong than there were bing bong. dong, until at last a woman passed by and the curate said, ding dong, ding dong. Just a minute, said the vicar, there's a mistake here. That's my wife, I do declare.
Candidates for either of these trophies might include the L-boat that got itself stuck sideways across Potterheim Bridge. This was a BOR first.
And Mary, Freelanders.
The Clipper Cropper Trophy. Have we any nominations for this year's Clipper Cropper Trophy? This company's fourth quarter. Is that what it's about? Oh, you hadn't heard about that one.
The bloody great fair, all the lyrics. Oh, ding dong, 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 ding dong.
Well, have a look at your damage. I saw you coming straight for us. There was enough there. Eyes wide open.
What happened? How did you do it?
Me? How did Ed do it?
Not good. Doesn't look good at all.
What did Tom say?
You what? He'll have a little swear, no doubt. Let's have a look. No. That's a bit out of the deck. Nothing changes.
That's the sort of the first coat stone. I give it 2 coats of this.
How many layers of varnish?
Usually about 7. Usually put about 7. For a good job, you've got to put about 7 or 8 on. A real top class job.
If you look at the thing that, well, that's the way I'd like my boot to be, and if you try and, as much as possible, maintain the boot to that sort of standard, you know, you get job satisfaction, which is, at the end of the day, what it's all about, really, or I think it is anyway. I must admit, I don't like doing half a job when I do one. You know, there's no satisfaction in that, and that's probably one of the reasons I'm still here, because we've really and truly always been allowed to do a decent job to what we're doing.
The boys proud of the boat, Lisa?
I think they are, because it has been a long, hard trawl to get her ready. I hope they are, but they're just typical Norfolk men. Can't ask them to show any emotion or actually say, yes, I think I've done a rather good job there. So I just go around telling them they have all the time. It's so wonderful, look, but it's just the shape of it and everything. You've got to hug a boat. Don't hug a tree, hug a boat. Get around there. Go. Beautiful. Absolutely. God.
It's autumn, and the boats have to come out of the water and be locked up for the winter. The fleet's secure for now, but what happens when the long-serving hands finally lay anchor?
What about your successor? Who's going to succeed you when you eventually retire?
I don't know. I suppose Simon, if he decides to stay on the yard, he'll probably find that he'll never make a fortune in boat building industry. most people tend not to, but you know, if he's keen enough to go along with the way of life, which is a nice way of, you know, earning your living, and you're not too money orientated, I don't see really why he shouldn't eventually take over, really.
Had enough. Might be here, don't know, might not, so I'll get bored of it. I know I will. I need a job where there's more money as well. There's not enough money in it.
What would you most like to be doing?
Some rich family yacht, working on that for them or something. Somewhere in South America or something like that, you know.
Up! One more. Just a touch. Good! There.
I consider Tom and Graham and Simon and Ian as part of my family because I'm as close to them as, you know, they might as well all be uncles or cousins or whatever. Because we have to work like that, we have to all work as a team. Changing things would be easy. Changing things would mean we'd bring in some new boats and there'd be fiberglass hulls and there'd just be the odd bit of wood on that'd be varnished and everyone would say they look very pretty. Changing things would be maybe not employing so many people in the summer months and working like most other boatyards do on a sort of seasonal turnaround. So we'd have the people in the winter when we need them and get rid of them in the summer when we don't. I can't see the point of working like that, and I wouldn't suggest that we did, but to make changes like that would be a lot easier to justify economically than to operate the way that we do. But the way that we do is right.
Up! They're right there.
They'll remain loyal to you, whatever you do, whatever you say, however things go. At the end of the day, they'll stand by you. There seems to be this sort of older way of looking at things that, you know, what's important in life is friendship and trust. And they're what come out all the time. It sounds really corny, but it's true. It's really true.
Tom, how much longer are you going to spend at this yard?
I've got really no idea. As long as I'm able and they want me, I'll come and give them a hand. But we still have to see. I like to think I help a little bit, but do a bit. My 2 days a week must help a little bit, I know. But how much longer will it go on for? Well, time will tell on it. Hopefully I can carry on another few years yet. See another millennium out, it'll be all right, won't it? Eh? Anyhow, we'll shut the door and put me there in for the winter now.
ThisLand looks at the struggle to save a derelict Welsh castle next week at the same time. And on BBC One now, the Ground Force team revisit an old garden.